Okay. Hello and welcome. So I need to change the banner. Take it off. Hello. Happy Friday. Happy first Friday of September. Um we have reached that point in the year already. Which is kind of crazy. But we are here. We are hopefully going to get some good work done. I've gotten a bit more done on this particular project. So we are going to continue with these. I'm hoping to get through at least one of these two stickies. Again, 1.5 to 2 would be great. So that's where we are for that. Yeah. How are you doing? What are you doing? I got the only sort of like other exciting thing was that I got my ordered copy of Burn After Writing. I got the celestial cover option, I guess. I don't actually think the insides are different. I think they're the same. But yeah, so it was on sale, so I got it. Yay. And what else? What else has gone on? It rained really nicely last night, so stood out with Dad and watched the rain. That's been something that we have done for years, and so it was nice to do that. Nice to do that again. So, Kate says, "Good morning. You have the office to yourself and no schedules for today, so you can get some brainstorming done. Nice. That'll be very fun. Very fun. Office to yourself. Goodness gracious. Means you can cook however much coffee you want. Cook, brew however much coffee you want, or you could go out, and there would be nobody to stop you to get Tim Hortons. Tim Horton, yes. Tim's? It's Tim Hortons, right? Restaurant chain. Tim's Coffee. Yeah, sorry. Brain. Dahlia is here and says hello. Hello. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. I'm going to scooch you just a wee bit. There we go. Stacy says good afternoon. Good afternoon. Hello. Welcome. Monique says, hey, everyone. Hello. You are trying out the Atticus program for formatting your novel. You tried importing your novel into Atticus and it turned out to be a hot mess. I find that anytime you swap programs, it often does become a hot mess. But you're using the program and copying your chapters one by one into Atticus. Program Atticus should help you with proofreading stuff. Has anyone here used Atticus? I've heard it. I've heard of it before, but I've not used it. But I think I remember hearing decent things about it. Stace says, this was a hard poll to answer. You know what you would say for you, but the character is not you. Ah, okay. Yes. So the poll, let me pull up the image. So the poll has to do with what instrument your main character would play. So would your main character play the piano? Would they play the guitar or something that has strings? Could be a harp, could be a violin, could be whatever. Guitar, so that's the guitar strings is option B. Drums / percussion is C. And then grass flute or whistle for those of our characters who are dirt poor and have to make do with blade of grass, or maybe even a reed flute, reed pipe situation. But yeah, there are not enough poll options to give you like a wind instrument or a brass instrument, so I'm sorry. Those were not a part of the pull options, but I would love to know if your character would play those. So. Kate says, I do have a stove here. I could bake cookies. Ooh, that would be fun. And leave the office smelling like cookies. That'd be great. That would be great. Sir Thinks Too Much says, hello, welcome. Monique says, I chose the guitar for Jane because you wanted to break the Asian stereotype, but also because Jane likes country music. Interesting. Nice. Sir Thinks Too Much says Kate should go for the cookies. Yeah. I've been seeing, like, on the little short forms of things off to the side, I kept seeing these, like, cookies with jam in them. Turns out they were preserves. But, yeah, sort of like make the cookie dough, which is essentially like a base sugar cookie dough, and then fold in strawberry preserves or whatever other fruit preserves. So you have those chunks of fruit in there. Freeze them or refrigerate them for a while, and then bake them so they didn't just like flatten out completely. I was like, those look good. Those look very good. But also, a chocolate chip is really hard to beat. So. Monique says, question for chapter titles. Okay. For chapter 10, Andy's POV, you want to change the chapter title. Okay. What is it currently? Monique says, do you guys like the chapter title Young Lust or Addicted to Love? Which one is more appropriate to the context of the chapter? Are they... So is this Andy's POV, I'm guessing. So is Andy more psychologically attracted to the idea of being in love, sort of the emotional high that goes with that? Or is he more bound up in the physical side of things? I think that would maybe determine whether or not you would choose one or the other of those. I feel like in the context of a storyline, again, this kind of depends on how you want the story to go in terms of the complexity of a story. I think I would prefer Addicted to Love. If this is sort of just like the flash in the pan relationship that's going nowhere and everybody knows it, Young Lust might fit. But I think if you're working towards creating this character to be complex and have a bit more depth, I would think Addicted to Love might be a more interesting choice. Stacey says, I choose the walkable small string instruments, though you are a flutist and that hurt. Gotcha. Yeah. I mean, there's the grass flute. But yeah, I think that would hurt to choose as well as a flutist. Dolly chose piano. Both of your protagonists are graduate students from the University of Chicago. So you feel like that would fit. Nice. Currently titled Young Lust. Okay. Pink Floyd song. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. I think the more I think about it, the more I lean to Addicted to Love. Stay says, it's a girl who grew up listening to 80s music, Addicted to Love. You can just hear the song. So the chapter is focusing on Andy feeling conflicted between his relationship with Catherine and his developing feelings for Jane. Okay. So in that short little bit of context, either one could work, but I feel I still feel like perhaps Addicted to Love might be a more interesting choice. Like, trust me, the song is playing in my head right now. Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah. It is a good song. Okay. Let's go ahead and take this off and minimize that. And go ahead and pull up your project, whatever it is. So I have a little bit of work in the journals to do. So I've got my everyday journal, my project journal, and then I've got the new journal, which is the burn after writing thing. But I may wait till some other point to do that one. But then I will be diving into the story, which will be fun. Should be fun. The characters are doing fun things right now, so it feels fun. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and do the doggos, and then we can get to work. What is your goal for today? So my goal, I think, is to get through a scene and a half to 2 scenes. So those 2 sticky notes. That's my goal. What is your goal for the stream for the next 2.25 hours or 2.5 hours? What is your stream goal? What do you want to get done? And in the meantime, we have Thursday's doggo, whose name is Moo. He requested high-quality photos to be taken of him because he is a very high-quality little guy. 12 out of 10, we agree strongly. And Moo is just the most adorable thing I have seen in a while. Just look at his little stompy paws, his big old ears, and his little jumper. So cute. So cute. Stinking cute. And then we also have another cutie pie. We have Kai. He had a hematoma in his ear, making it perfectly wonky. His grandma crocheted him a little mouse friend with a matching wonky ear, and we just think that's pretty great. So here is Kai and his little mouse friend with matching ears. Look at that face. So cute. So we have super adorable doggos for today. We have Moo in his little fashionista sweater, and we have Kai with his little mouse buddy. They're just so cute. Super duper cute. Stacy is going to be working on your story Bible. You're hoping to get a good bit done. Excellent. Are you thinking, like, maybe, I'm not sure how exactly you're organizing your story Bible, so I don't know if you're doing it by entry or by pages. But yeah. Monique says, right now my goal is to copy as many chapters into Atticus as possible. You might work into tomorrow. Gotcha. Okay, so how many chapters do you have total? What chapter are you on now? So that we can see your progress as the stream goes on. So cute. I know. I'm so glad I got the doggo calendar. Next year, I'm very tempted to get the cat calendar and see what kind of cute kitties they have. But I also like the dog calendar. Has been so much fun. Sir Thinks Too Much says, goal, finish a scene using a new character POV and moving the plot along. Nice. Monique says, right now I just copied chapter 10 and you have 48 chapters total. Okay. So you have 30 chapters to go. Okay. Not bad. Not bad. All right. And then we need today's card, right? Yes. All the cards, all the things we do. Okay, for the oracle card, we have the cow inverted. And it's the miracles are endless. It's number 15. So here's our cow friend. Lots of flowers around. The cow asks you to pay attention to how you nourish your mind, body, and spirit, because right now you are wobbling around like a newborn calf on unsteady legs. Perhaps you've been spending too much time distracting yourself on the internet, or obsessing over a relationship, or choosing to eat food that is not healthy. Whatever it is, you are being nudged to assess how you are looking after your needs. Remember, the universe has a way of reflecting back to you events and conditions that match how you treat yourself. The cow reminds you that the universe wants to give you the very best, but needs you to do your part to participate and nourish your well-being. Heed her message, and everything will shift in your favor. So there you go. There's our cow. And CB is here. Hello. You're watching the news right now. It'd be nice if we got some good news, right? Monique said, no. Ooh, and CB finally got a desk that works. Nice. When Monique pulled the Fool, that's seems like a continuation of the major arcana that y'all have had. Y'all had plenty of major arcana on Wednesday, right? I'm just gonna. Oh, okay. So I got Justice inverted. So we have dishonesty, legal issues, lack of accountability, or retribution. So there is the Justice card. Did somebody have Justice last time, or was it Judgment? I feel like maybe it was Judgment. Kate says, wow, this is so true. Okay, will do. I'm glad the cow is resonating. All right, let's do this. Ooh, Stacy drew the 10 of Wands reversed. 10 is that like being super overwhelmed, but almost being there, almost to the goal. At least that's what I'm remembering. Yeah. Monique says, one thing I like about Attica so far is that you can format text message conversation. Ooh, that could be fun. That could be a nice, useful thing for a contemporary story. All right, let's start with the hedgehog. Let's start with our little hedgehog. I'm just realizing I've had all of my volumes at like 50%. So the dang cow's looking at you. Scotland is playing in the World Cup qualifier tonight. Okay, gotcha. We are hoping for a good game then. Kara says, Enchanted Map number 46, coming apart. Now is a time to take separate paths and put an end to what is no longer working for you. Ooh. Well, we are coming up on the full moon this weekend, which is also sort of about letting go and ending what no longer serves you. Stacy says to Monique, ooh, that would be nice for the text message formatting. Your current work in progress is the first in a long time with no text messages. But yeah, having that as a format that you can just insert would be really nice. I'm trying to think. Sophia, oh gosh, what's her last name? There is a traditionally published sort of rom-com about a, I want to say wedding planner? No. corporate girly of some kind, that loses her phone and picks up the male lead's phone and then starts using it for whatever business crisis is going on. Um, oh gosh, I'm gonna remember the name of it. But anyway, so like half of that book feels like it's in text. So that would have been, I'm sure, very nice because I think this was before Atticus existed. But yeah, that would have been very nice for the author to have, I'm sure. So if Scotland qualifies, your aunt and uncle, who are very football mad and very patriotic, will be going to Houston. Your parents are in Spain right now. Nice. All kinds of fun family trips then. All right, let's do this. 1, save your document. Or pull it up if you haven't already done so. 2 is make sure you have something to hydrate with and go ahead and take a sip. Cheers. 3, straighten your spine, roll your shoulders back for that posture check. Make sure you're not slouching too much. And 4 is if you need a break, take a break. Here we go. 30 minutes in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay. How'd we do? Okay, that. Okay. I managed to get 500 words exactly. So there's that. That's good. I will take it. Put that in the tracker. Save. Okay. How'd you do? I think I got a decent amount of. I think I got a decent amount. Sorry, just fixing some of the line spacing here. How did you do? Monique was planning to get to the halfway point during the stream, but then got called to cook rice for lunch. CB has achieved a grilled cheese and barbecue sandwich, which sounds, not gonna lie, pretty good. CB was a little hesitant to reveal this. It's like, I know this is likely a food crime in the South, but I like it. You put a little bit of barbecue sauce between the slices of cheese. I mean, honestly, most of the time, Southerners are not going to say no to some sauce. So, most times a sauce of some kind is a welcome addition. So, I'm not gonna knock you for that. So you might try a cheese and baked bean toasty the next time. I mean, I'm sure it's probably tasty, but I don't know. The whole like UK beans on toast has never really appealed to me a great deal. I will say that. So I think I'm more on board with your barbecue sauce between cheese than beans. For whatever reason, if you put it in a tortilla shell, like beans and cheese is fine. But bread, somehow, I don't know. Which is like, it's really weird realizing that like, oh, it's essentially the same innards as a taco. Maybe, but like the bread form is different. Transcribe most of chapter 12. You think you'll get your lunch and eat while working in the next round. Nice. Kate finished up your mind dump before brainstorming. Next to work on your course here after lunch. Excellent. And did you decide to make cookies or not? CB says one of the coffee chains here does a cheese and bean toasty, but it's a bit too bland for you. Gotcha. Monica's eating instant ramen with beefsteak. Nice. Nice. Stacy typed up a few character traits as you came across them. You think about 4 scenes worth, and you read and then put them in the story Bible. Gotcha. Dahlia made you some tea and currently working on the stories playlist. You need the playlist to help you be immersed in the story. Yes, I think Stacy does that as well as a lot of people. So Stacy says, I'm about to start a new scene and put in a new setting. Second one, though, this one may be broken down into different parts. Gotcha. Parts are good if it makes it manageable. Sir thinks too much. Got 310 words, getting a feel for this POV. His culture is inspired by your fundamentalist upbringing, so it's easy for you to sympathize with him. It will likely make the character easy to sympathize with for a lot of people. You do beans and cheese with pasta, but the beans must be Heinz beans. Gotcha. Kate says, I'm going to bring back all the ingredients I need to make cookies during lunch. Excellent. You have office cookies. Well, if you find yourself getting the office to yourself more often, then maybe you could get some of those frozen or refrigerated cookie dough things and just like keep that in the office fridge so that you don't have to go back and forth. I don't know if they would disappear that way, though. They might disappear. So he says, not today for the playlist. You're listening to different music because I don't want to be tempted to write. You are doing minor edits. Gotcha. That is, yeah. If you start to associate something with the writing aspect, then it becomes sort of like Pavlovian, I suppose. You're like, oh, must write when I hear this. I really liked a particular song, and I liked it enough to put it as my alarm. And then after about 6 months of that, whenever I heard the song, I got kind of panicky because I was like, oh, gotta get up, gotta like get ready. I was like, oh, this is why you don't put your favorite songs as an alarm song. So, yeah. Good plan to bring the refrigerated dough to leave in the fridge. Yeah, it'd be fun. CB says Heinz makes a fiery chili flavor beans, and they are nice with pasta and cheese, which means they would also be good on a toasted sandwich. You might need to get bigger bread though. Gotcha. You can't listen to Bon Jovi when you're writing. I get distracted. Yeah. Yeah. There are some like artists or songs that for multiple reasons I sort of like stop listening to for a while until I'm like able to handle the emotions that come with it. And so after Linkin Park's singer passed away, I, for the longest time, have not been able to listen to Linkin Park uh, without crying. So I've finally gotten to where I can listen to a couple of songs now, not all of them for sure, but a couple of songs I can listen to again. Um, so things like that. But the tarot, I do this with the tarot as well. So speaking of Stacy not wanting to listen to the music because you'll want to write, the Shadowscapes tarot has become so associated in my brain with the Chimera Moon series that I'm not really able to use it for normal tarot readings anymore because I just start thinking about the characters that are associated with the different cards or like so yeah. Anyway, let's go ahead and do another sprinty sprint. We did the hedgehog, the otter, and second sprint is the self promo sprint. So make sure that you do your self promo. All right, let's do this. 1, save your work. 2, take a sip. Cheers. 3, straighten your spine. Roll your shoulders back for that posture check. Make sure you're not slouching too much. And 4 is make sure if you need a break, take a break. Here we go, 30 minutes in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay. Hopefully, I think I spent more of that sprint reading and editing. I was doing a little bit of research, and sort of kind of got caught up in that. I feel like I made a little bit of progress, but I did copy paste some information over into another document, so that I have that research synopsis Um, yeah, I feel like I did okay. Feel like I did okay. How about you? What did you get done? Also, we had a little bit more talk about music. Um, CB says you were about to listen to your favorite radio show only to realize there's a concert on instead of your normal radio show for Classic FM. Kara says, I can't listen to the Ramones or AC/DC very often. Yeah, all the original Ramones are dead, and after Mal Young died, you found yourself quite depressed while listening to AC/DC. Yeah, and that's the same reason I can't quite make myself listen to most of the Linkin Park CDs that I have, and songs that I normally would be rocking out to. I have not come to terms with that yet. So Kara says, right now you're not much up to listening to Black Sabbath or to Ozzy Osbourne's solo work. Yeah, you're at the age where so many of the artists who inspired you are dying, bums you out, and puts your focus on your own mortality. Yeah, yeah. CB says, I love AC/DC mainly because of the MCU. You love the scene in Far From Home where Peter mistakes AC/DC for Led Zeppelin. It's a funny movie. Kara says, I discovered AC/DC when I was 12. You were you were a weird, rejected human being. Angus Young was so amazingly weird and just out and proud of his weirdness, and it helped you somehow. Yeah. Yeah. This was 1977 to put things in perspective. No internet. You really didn't know anything about these guys. You just knew that you resonated with their music. Yeah. Your parents hated them, which probably didn't hurt your affection. Yeah. Monique has a self promo. My Ex is a Vampire is available for pre order. So check it out. CB says, I'm going to be 43 in a week on Wednesday. And you discovered Bon Jovi when you were 14, 1996. They've been your favorite band ever since, and you've seen them live twice, which is always really fun. Most of the other girls in your year were into Take That, Westlife, Boyzone, Easy 17, NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, etc. Other than the one boy band that you liked for all of your 9, you were not enamored. Yeah. You mostly listen to classical music, but you also do like Cyndi Lauper and Bette Midler. Yeah. Also great. Funky has made it. Yay! Excellent. We are complete. Kara says, I have a massive back to school sale on my editing and reading services, alpha and beta reading. So check out the Ornery Alpha Beta and also the Ornery Literary Services for other editing services. Kara says, my musical tastes are extremely eclectic. You like everything from what came to be called classic rock to classical music to country to all sorts of things. Yeah. I think that was one of the things that when you relied on the radio, you got what came on. And so you were sort of beholden to what channel was strong if you were doing long distance trips, but also just whatever was on. And so you got to hear, I think, a wider breadth of genres, or you could hear a wider breadth of genres. Now with Spotify and YouTube and whatnot, you can curate your own listening a lot more. And so in some ways, I think it's gotten a little bit more narrow. I don't know. CB says self-promo. I have a version of the first Star for President on AO3 under the username TeamStark2905. CB says same, but if you're working, it has to be movie music. Cinematic soundtracks. Monique says, one of your writer friends informed me that KDP has templates for paperback for the cover or for the insides. But I know they have guidelines. I didn't realize they had templates. Kate says, going home for lunch. See you guys later. Excellent. Stacy says, I got more done than it looks like I got done, but hey, you got more done, which is excellent. Funky says, I managed to get coffee brewing. Work is complete, but my brain is dead. So you think you're just going to read today. Fair enough. You got to get your reading in somehow, right? Emily, hello, welcome. Not sure about your word count, but you got 3 full handwritten pages this sprint, so you will consider that a win. Yes. I'm sort of like once you, if you care to count, not at the moment, but just if you care to count, you can sort of get an estimate for how big your handwriting is and how big the page is and all that kind of stuff. Then you can sort of estimate how many words per page for that notebook, which is always kind of fun. Dahlia says, I got the playlist done and wrote 27 words for the prologue. Nice. Would it be okay to post the link to the Spotify playlist for self-promo? Dahlia, I don't think you have a blue wrench, so you'd have to sort of put some spaces in the URL because YouTube doesn't like it when people post direct links unless you have a moderator wrench. Hey, Kara got credit card pays billed. Bills paid. Yay! Pays bill. But yes, you paid the bills. Always good. Always good. And always, it sucks, yes, but it's always good that it's paid. Sir Thinks Too Much says, heck yeah, to Emily's 3 handwritten pages, which is awesome. Sir Thinks Too Much got 350 words down this sprint, got distracted looking up the history of stage lighting. Interesting. I can tell you that Macbeth is always dark, which is one of the reasons why there were more accidents on Macbeth. It was also a fan favorite, so people would switch to Macbeth for saving the seasons and ticket sales, and so the actors wouldn't have rehearsed it as well, which is also another reason why there would be more accidents. So yeah. Currently playing around with the KDP template. Gotcha. Most of the time, if we used it at dance class, you usually enjoyed listening to it. Gotcha. Yeah. Because generally, if you're at dance class, then it has some sort of rhythm to it. So, Kara says, many years ago, I distracted myself from anxiety about flying by sketching the members of Bon Jovi. I won't say it was a great portrait, but it wasn't terrible either. And it did good things for you. So there you go. Okay, so the template is for the insides of the book, which is awesome. Awesome. Stacy says, I totally agree on the eclectic listening taste that we were exposed to back in the day. Yeah. Dahlia says, I was born in 2004, but I like music from the 1800s to the 1980s. Nothing from the 2000s? Or the 90s? Well, so that's the whole thing is that there is a superstition that it is cursed, but it's, you won't convince an actor of this, but it has a long history of injuries and mistakes because of multiple factors. And 2 of those factors are the really bad lighting that is often in the play to create the atmosphere of like gloom and misery. And also because in the olden times, when Macbeth was put on, oftentimes it was because the troupe was doing, the playhouse or the troupe was doing very poor ticket sales. And so they would swap to a fan favorite because who doesn't like a story of murder and mayhem, right? And so then the actors would be forced to pivot what they were remembering, and oftentimes they were remembering choreography from a different stage or choreography from a different play, and so they would mess up the sword fights or mess up and fall off the stage and like break their leg or twist their ankle or stab somebody. So there's like lots of like haunted / cursed superstitions surrounding it, but it's not as scary as it. I mean, it's scary for sure because yeah, if you are in a sword fight with your partner, um, and your troop manager has made things more exciting by doing it with live blades or edged blades, then yeah, you're probably going to be a little bit more scared about crossing blades in the dark near the stairs than in a fully lit stage with dull blades. So yeah. Yeah, most performers, yes, exactly. But I'm not a performer and I do not live in a theater house. So I can call it Macbeth. The Scottish play. You know next to nothing about Shakespeare, but you know about that. Yeah, it's very, very well rumored. That's for sure. Dolly says, I listened to some of the songs that were probably popular in the 2010s, but that's about it. Gotcha. Yeah, Patrick Stewart there's a great video on YouTube of Patrick Stewart being asked about the superstitions. So it's just a few minutes long. I used to show it to the kids at the high school when I was teaching, because yeah, we did Macbeth in October. And we led with like, how haunted is it? And then like once they were properly freaked out, I would tell them the reason why it's like not really haunted. So yeah. Stacy says to Dahlia, now I feel old. You mean you knew it, but now you feel it totally different. Yeah. For Dahlia being born in 2004. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, you can counter Macbeth's energy with Midsummer Night's Dream. Yes, because yeah, drunken escapades across the Fey realm. Yeah. Alexis says, hello everyone. It's been a long time since you've written something. Well, welcome back. Welcome back. Hopefully we can help you write again. CB says the worst thing that ever happened to me on stage was probably almost ending up in the orchestra pit head first. Yeah, exactly. And so that's what, if you are on an unfamiliar stage in the dark, and your last stage where you had learned all the choreography didn't have an orchestra pit, yeah, this could be a recipe for disaster. So Kara says, the last time I did the community theater was close to 35 years ago. One performance was fraught with peril. One of your fellow performers demanded to know who said the name of the Scottish play. Yeah. Yeah. Actors are very superstitious people. Monique says, when I was tutoring the kiddos, you started with Romeo and Juliet and did Midsummer for fun. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, honestly, there is something fun about every Shakespeare play. But there are some that are better, in my opinion. CB says, I think the Phantom is cursed because the boat broke down a few times and people have been hurt. So it's probably just mechanical failures, honestly. Like a lot of times theaters are also like shoestring budget things, and like they'll procrastinate the maintenance of stuff because they are trying to put on another play. So it's probably just mechanical failures that they have not updated and maintained. So I hate to break the superstition, but it's probably just they didn't want to pay for the maintenance. Monique says, strange as it sounds, Julius Caesar is the safest play for kids to learn. Because there isn't any innuendo. So I wouldn't necessarily say safest. And depending on the age of the kid, and their life experience, but mostly just the age of the kids, it's good for them to have that double entendre. the innuendo. Like, not necessarily all of it. You don't have to point out every single one, but like the kids already have their brains in the gutter half the time anyway. And they're listening to songs that are way filthier than Shakespeare. And they hear it, on social media. They hear it from their parents. They hear it from their cousins. They hear it from like the kids down the block. They hear it on the bus. Like they are exposed to it. So, so, and there is a reason why we did Romeo and Juliet in freshman year, and it's because the age of Juliet. Romeo is older, obviously, but like freshman girls going into high school, encountering much more physically developed men, some of them still going through puberty, and sort of entering their first relationships. And at that point in time, like their entire life is surrounded by emotions because the brain chemistry makes their emotions much more extreme than once you are older and those hormones have settled down and whatnot. And so you have this story of like, here is what happens when someone hangs their entire life on a relationship. And you go through, and a lot of times they'll realize, oh, well, this was stupid. And I'm like, yes, it was very stupid of them to do this. Can we maybe not like, apply this to our own lives and your own very, very fresh relationship / breakup that you came in crying about? And it does work. It does work because it's like, they realize, not all of them like realize it in their gut, but they begin to think about things a little bit more. And so there is a reason why teachers will teach Romeo and Juliet in freshman year. I know some people are like, oh, it's way too advanced. Oh, there's too many innuendos. Oh, there's all, there's a reason we do it. But by the time that they get to senior year, and they are so tired of Shakespeare, and they're like, we've already done Shakespeare. Like, can't we, but that's the point in which you're like, okay, read this line or read this passage. Okay, now put your brain in the filth, like in the gutter, and read it again. And they read it again. And then you hear the choruses of O's as they're finally getting it. I'm like, yes, Shakespeare was naughty, very, very naughty. Are you more interested in the text now? And they're like, oh yeah, we're more interested. We want to see where this goes. I'm like, okay, good. So it's like, it is a trick to entertain because it is an entertainment value that Shakespeare added on purpose to entertain the audience so that he could get more money and put on more plays and pay for his drinks and that kind of stuff. So the entertainment value still holds because we are still humans and our brains are basically in the gutter. So anyway, I'm going to step off my soapbox. Sorry. But I would agree, Julius Caesar has less innuendos than other texts. I don't think it's completely free of, but it definitely has less. It does teach the kids politics, history, and rhetoric. Yes. Yeah, and that we did Caesar in conjunction with persuasive writing. Yeah. Lots of stabbing. Yes. Lots and lots of stabbing. Emily says, I've been in 4 different productions of Midsummer as 4 different characters, and the amount of sheer joy it still gives me is really something else. Yes, and that's the fun thing about theater, and is that it can serve that, both for the audience and for the actors. CB says, we're in dress rehearsal, thank goodness, when you almost fell into the orchestra pit. Okay, and the stage manager had not tacked down the edge of the linoleum. Ooh! And you tripped on it and nearly ended up in the pit on top of a percussionist. Oh, goodness. That was the only time you were ever in an opera. The kids you were tutoring were 3rd through 7th grade. Okay. Yeah, that might be a little young for most Shakespeare plays. I mean, like you could give them the condensed version, but yeah, yeah. The only time you were in a play, you were the villain, and the prop broke, causing me and the other girl you were working with to laugh on stage. Gotcha. You do have a point about kids hearing, and yeah. It's just hard to work around it, so you call it locker room talk. Yeah, which is fine for that age. Yeah. The way you taught Romeo and Juliet is comparing the rivalry between the families to Hogwarts houses. That would work. Then you ask the kids if they compare characters in the play to characters they recognize, like the Gryffindor houses and Slytherin houses. Yeah, gotcha. Kara says, my father was the potty mouth professor. You knew all the words by the time you were 5. Yeah. Dost not wave thy wand too much. Yeah. Another way of asking if they have syphilis or not. CB says, I was in the unintelligent class for English, so no Shakespeare. And we did West Side Story, which technically is still Shakespeare. So you remember reading and learning Romeo and Juliet my freshman year. Yeah, which is, yeah, we do it that year for a reason. Yeah. Sarah Thinks Too Much says, didn't know all that trivia about Macbeth. Thanks for sharing. Very interesting. You're welcome. You're welcome. Hard to do that. Yeah, hard to have Romeo and Juliet with kids who are not into romantic relationships. Yeah. Very true. Your English class went to see the movie version of Romeo and Juliet with Leonard Whiting and Olivia Hussey when you were 13 years old. That one, hey. When you were learning Romeo and Juliet, it was when the Claire Danes, Leo DiCaprio version came out. Yeah, it's a great version too. You think we watched it in class, or we were told to watch it? Yeah. It's more of an intro to Shakespeare for the 3rd through 7th graders. Yeah. All of Shakes would be hard at that age. True. Very true. They didn't read the play, but got introduced to the characters and plot. The kids are smart, though. Yeah. Kids are always smarter than we think. So that's the one thing that you can count on, is they are going to pick up things that you don't think they're going to pick up. You introduce the kids to Great Gatsby, and they compared Gatsby to Mr. Beast, and it's a very apt comparison. Ooh, hadn't thought of that. We watched West Side Story in school when you were 15. I don't remember when was the first time I saw West Side Story. I don't know. I don't think we saw it on our own because my parents are not the biggest fans of musicals. So I don't think we would have rented that from Blockbuster. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and do one more sprint because we've been chatting for a while and we need to do at least one more sprint. Ooh, maybe I should do a poll about your favorite musical. I don't know. We'll see. Okay. I'll just put that in the back of my brain. We'll do the Red Panda for our timer. Our cute red panda. Okay. Let's do this. 1, save a document. 2, take a sip. Cheers. 3, straighten your spine, or roll your shoulders back for that posture check. Make sure you're not slouching too much. And 4 is if you need a break, take a break. Here we go. 30 minutes in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay. Excuse me. All right. How was that? I did manage with the addition of the research notes and sort of copy paste there. I got 3,000 words for the session, but I think probably only 12 to 1,500 are new words for this section. So I think I got somewhere between 12 and 1,500. And then the rest is notes for myself. So, progress. I will take it. I will absolutely take it. Kate is back. Put laundry in the dryer, added towels to the washing machine. Now back to some editing. Nice. I did not start my laundry yet today, so I need to do that. CB is working on the schedule for your NaNoWriMo replacement, which is going to be the writing challenge. Kara says AutoCrit is doing a novel 90 writing challenge during the fourth quarter, October, November, December. So here's the link for that. Pro Writing Aid also has a novel writing challenge. Okay. Sue says, I'm not sure I want to do another online writing challenge. You are flying solo with the writing challenge, which is fine. You are not taking your laptop out with you except to the library on Wednesdays of the month. You're going to be writing longhand, which could be very fun. Very fun. Funky drank coffee and read. Since it's Friday, you can have more coffee or more reading. Since you're not worried about going to bed early. This could apply to both coffee and reading. Since you don't have to be up in the morning. Stacy says, got some more work done. Excellent. Good job. Yeah, we are doing good. We're doing very good. I am pleased with both the research and the somewhere between 12 and 1,500 words that I've done thus far. I will probably work a little bit more this evening. Probably. Just gonna be honest. Probably gonna be doing a little bit of work this evening, evening, but that's okay. Stay says is going to probably be doing the rough draft challenge in November, either with the community if it's being run or by yourself. Gotcha. Funky says true. I will say both the coffee and the reading. Yes. Dahlia got some words written down and spent the rest of the sprint listening to the audiobook to Lolita. Gotcha. Yeah, Nabokov. Alrighty. So we do have the picture poll, which needs to be addressed. Which instrument are our main characters going to be playing? 53% of them are playing the piano. 21% are tied between the guitar / strings and the grass flute / whistle. And then 5% are going to be doing drums or percussion. I kind of wish I had replaced drums with some sort of wind instrument, but maybe that's another question for another time. So, all right. Again, thank you very much for joining me. Don't forget to save, and I will hopefully see y'all next week. Apparently, I need some of Funky's coffee, so I may go off and make myself a cup. All right, y'all. Thank you very much, and have a wonderful weekend if I don't see you in the chats. Ooh, sir thinks too much. Got 947 total. Yay! Main character just arrived in a hot air balloon. Ooh. Pause to watch a scene from The Count of Monte Cristo. Make sure you're not copying it. Good idea. All right. Bye, y'all.